if you feel you are in a wrong crowd, it sometimes works. If you just tries like to step one step ahead and step into another community or like a new environment, and sometimes you feel more home, then yeah. So I think changing the environment sometimes helps you a lot. That's what I believe.
Okay, Ayako, thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you, Kaori-san. Thank you for having me today.
Yes, so here is a Techstars Tokyo office, just front of the Tokyo station, and I'm so excited to hear about your story. So, Ayako, could you please tell us about yourself?
Yes, hi. So I'm a co-founder and CEO of Sorano AI. We deliver an AI meteorologist agent for any weather-dependent industries such as energy, agriculture, and logistics to help them optimize their operations and act faster. So meteorologist is Kisho Yohoshi in Japanese. So someone who analyzes weather forecasting data. Yes, so those are expert in weather data and climate data. So mainly, for example, energy traders, they have in-house meteorologists usually, but it takes them 2 to 3 hours every morning to analyze weather dashboard, and sometimes they fetch raw weather forecasting data to generate market insights. But this 2 to 3 hours every day can be worth millions of dollars for energy traders, because the earlier they can get insights, the better, or like the potentially the more revenue. So we offer our AI meteorologist agent to Kumo for those energy traders so that they can get market insights 2 hours earlier than their other competitors. So that's the value that we offer for energy trading firms. But we also offer other competitive advantage for other weather-dependent industries, such as renewable energy company and agriculture company. But yeah, I can provide you with more details if you.
Thank you. And if I remember correctly, so Kumo is a agent.
Yes.
To help the user, right? And as a user, we can communicate with Kumo by voice.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Sure. Yes. So we offer business insights in text and voice. We consider this highly valuable, especially for people in the field. For example, we are currently in discussion with a government of India to conduct a pilot project, especially for farmers in remote areas. And interestingly, in India, they speak more than 1,000 local dialects and languages. But in Kumo, we can also offer those local languages and provide insights with voice. So unfortunately, some of the farmers in countries like India, some of them are still not great at writing or reading. So we consider that Kumo can be highly valuable for those users if we can offer agriculture insights with voice, so that they can ask, for example, they can call their trusted personal expert and ask them about any advice on agriculture practice and the planning, and they can get like immediate suggestions and advice through voice. So it's like they are talking to their personal experts on the phone.
Amazing. Why did you come up with this business idea?
Yes. So I'm from countryside in Hiroshima, Japan. And around 2018, heavy rain occurred and a landslide disaster hit really in my hometown, really close to my home. And at that time, it was a painful reminder that weather, extreme weather can damage our communities and lives and also economies. That is the first time I realized the importance of disaster management associated with any extreme weather. That's also why I started my PhD at Stanford, and I'm in the 4th year of PhD, doing research on climate forecasting using machine learning and remote sensing data. So that's how I started with this idea. And At Stanford, I took the startup class called Startup Garage offered by MBA. And through customer interviews with insurance industries and energy industries, they made me realize that weather data has been heavily underutilized. And that's how we came up with this idea, providing weather forecasting data, and not only weather forecasting data, but also business insights associated with those weather forecasting data through AI agent. So we can offer weather intelligence for anyone easily, accessibly.
It's great because of you found the people and communities paying in your hometown.
Yes.
And then you kept this idea. Speaking of your Stanford experience and also career,
I was pretty active, energetic, always playing outside. But as I say, I come from a very small town in Hiroshima. For example, it takes me half an hour to walk to the nearest convenience store, and the bus comes every 45 minutes or something. And yeah, I lived in kind of remote area. When I grew up, people, I mean, still they are kind of a little bit conservative, but including my parents, they had more like a traditional value, especially against like girls and women. So although I was I liked studying, and I started going to cram school like when I was 9 or 10. It was my choice. I wanted to go. I wanted to study more. But then my parents were always kind of discouraging. Especially my mom kept saying that like I don't need to study so hard because I can just go to only women's only college, like 2-year community college in Hiroshima. I will marry someone one day and become a housewife. So like, what's the point of studying so hard? And since I'm so rebellious in nature, I wanted to prove they are wrong. And yeah, so I had to persuade them, but yeah, I somehow managed to go to college in Tokyo, and yeah, started living on my own career path. Yeah.
I see. And then, so after college, did you join any Japanese company, or did you choose other way?
Yes. So I after college I started working at a consulting firm Accenture Tokyo, and there I was an analyst. Yeah, communications and high tech industry. Yeah, university.
Accenture is a big corporate and global, right? So how was it?
Yes, it was so it was so, how can I say, I had to work so long hours every day. But yes, I oftentimes worked from like 9 a.m. to 4 a.m.
What?
Yeah.
Why did you decide to quit like a big name corporate?
Yes. So at that time, or like since childhood, I always had some interest in working at the United Nations. It was one of my dreams.
I see.
So having chosen to work at Accenture was part of that dream, because I had heard that like having project management skills could help for that career, to work at the UN. Also, working at Accenture was kind of my temporary decision, and to work at the UN, I had to get a master's degree. And I also wanted to always study abroad again, because I did the exchange when I was in college. I studied in Australia for like 1 year. For that, I decided to study my master's degree in Geneva, Switzerland. Yes. Why Geneva? Because I was interested in learning French, and also the tuition was affordable because I had to like pay from my pocket for the tuition and the living expenses. So I saved a lot of money at Accenture, then went to Geneva, Switzerland. Yeah, with my dream of working at the UN one day.
So how many years were you at the university?
Oh, in Geneva?
Yeah, Geneva. Yeah.
Yes. So Geneva, it was a 2-year program.
Mm.
So I was there for 2 years. It's a master in
Master.
development studies. So like those who are interested in working at the UN study the master's degree, hoping that they can get internship or like work at the UN after graduation. So yeah, it was a wonderful experience. Firstly, because whenever I said I want to work at the UN, when I was in Japan, people looked at me like, what are you saying? Kind of, yeah, they gave me that kind of look.
Oh.
In Japan, they were like, we must be so hard, like, working at the UN, it just sounds impossible. Like, well, how do you think you can do it? Like, some of them even ask, like, oh, how old are you? Like, do you still want to study? So, like, I got a lot of those discouraging words, but then realized that, at the university, like my master's degree in Switzerland, everyone wanted to work for the UN.
Makes
So
sense.
I felt so comfortable in that environment, and it was also super encouraging. They made me like they helped me to think like, oh, I can also do that. Like it's not an like an impossible pathway or career to, yeah, it's not like nothing wrong to dream about like working at the UN. So yeah, it was a really amazing experience to study in Geneva. So I think sometimes, like people sometimes say like environment doesn't change who you are, but I doubt that. Like sometimes if you feel you are in a wrong crowd, it sometimes works. If you just tries like to step one step ahead and step into another community or like a new environment, and sometimes you feel more home, then yeah, so I think changing the environment sometimes, yeah, helps you a lot. That's what I believe.
The three key takeaways from the conversation with Ayako, part 1. 1. Environment shapes your dreams. Ayako grew up in a small town in Hiroshima Prefecture where people said girls don't need to study too hard. But when she studied abroad in Geneva, everyone around her wanted to work for the UN, United Nations. That environment made her think, maybe I can do it too. Changing your environment can completely change how big you dream. 2. Turning pain into purpose. When a landslide destroyed part of her hometown, she realized how weather disasters affect people's lives. So she studied climate forecasting at Stanford and built Sorano AI and AI meteorologist to help others prevent future disasters. She turned local pain into a global mission. 3. Kumo saves time and helps everyone. Energy traders usually spend 2 to 3 hours analyze weather data every morning. With Sorano AI's agent Kumo, they get insight 2 hours faster, saving millions of dollars. And in India, even farmers can talk to Kumo by voice to get weather and farming advice. Thank you so much for watching our episode today. We hope this conversation will help your future and career. If you like it, please subscribe us and give it a like. The next episode is the conversation with Ayako part 2. Please stay tuned. OK, thank you so much. バイバイ、またね。チャオ